Old now, radio has long been a powerful tool for communication, information, and education. As the world marks World Radio Day today, February 13th, 2025, the focus turns to how this medium can contribute to addressing climate change. This year's theme, Radio and Climate Change, highlights the crucial role radio plays in keeping communities informed, engaged, and prepared for environmental challenges. In many parts of the world, particularly in rural communities, radio remains the most accessible source of information. It provides timely weather updates, educates people on sustainable practices, and gives a platform for discussions on environmental issues. Beyond providing information, radio serves as a space for dialogue. Community radio stations, especially in the developing countries, enable people to share knowledge, discuss their experiences, and learn from one another. Joining me now is General Manager Max FM and Yanga FM, Mervyn Arimi. He's live here with me on Radio Day. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
How's it been?
Very well.
Well, this celebration means a lot to me for someone who started his journalism career on radio.
Fantastic.
But I'm just wondering, what makes radio such a powerful medium, even in an age of digital media and social networks?
I would say is the reach. So I think a lot of people sometimes do underestimate, the power of radio. Radio has a very wide reach. It is one of the medium up to now that is basically on the go. You can have radio anywhere, and then it is one medium that gets to even the most remote parts, of the community, basically. So it goes really deep and wide.
The mystery there used to be hearing the voice and not seeing the face.
Yeah.
I think that it takes a lot more professionalism to be able to convey your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Because you have to do more with voice modulation and convey your emotions. But that is also fast changing. Radio is adapting to changing media landscape. We now see them and stream live.
Absolutely.
What do you think is happening now?
I think because of the time and age, everybody is people are basically moved by what they see these days. So a lot of people tend to forget and want to connect more with what they see and the people they get to see. Like we always say, some of the best TV people are mostly from radio. Like yourself. So yes, it is beginning to change at the moment. There's been more visual presence to radio. People now want to see who is talking, the people behind the microphone. Not just it's not just enough anymore to just be behind the scene and use your voice. And now people get to see you, get to see what's happening in the studio. They just want to connect, basically. That's why it's changed.
I'm wondering what has kept you on radio these years.
You mean me as a person?
As a person, yes.
I think I
was on radio, and then I worked with a channel that also had television.
Right.
And then I started appearing on TV, and I forgot radio.
I think I like the anonymity. I like the fact that I like to be behind the scene.
Well, now you're on TV.
Crazy. But basically, I just like the fact that you can just be, in your own, little room and just do your thing and do so much, without any distraction, any attention.
But is that space being threatened now with the rise of podcasting, online audio content? How do you see the radio landscape emerge in the next 5 to 10 years?
Still on reach. None of that can still penetrate as much as radio can. If you go to the north, for example, radio is big because people in the remote part can have their small transistors radio and all of that, and they can connect. Not everybody gets to watch podcasts. It is doing so well, and again, radio is trying to measure up. So if you're bringing podcasts, radio is now giving that as well. So radio would last because it has what no other medium has, basically.
Is that why you're coming up with Yanga FM?
One of the reasons why we're coming up with Yanga FM. I think Max FM has done so well over the years, basically, and it can pride itself as one of the biggest urban radio station in Nigeria. But we wanted to do something for Nigeria, and its locals. And by local, I mean, Pidgin is basically global now. We're talking about that a couple of days ago. Pidgin is global now. We have superstars all over the world that are not even Nigerians using the language. People are tweeting in Pidgin. People can connect. For example, in December, Dirty December is now a hub. So we wanted to own the language, and just tell the world that Pidgin can be cool. You know, so we're doing something very different, which is going to come pretty soon. You know, doing something very different. It is a pop culture pidgin station. You know, basically, to say Nigeria and pidgin English or pidgin language, however you want to refer to it, is one of the coolest language and culture you can ever have.
We're looking forward to that. How soon can
we are going to be on air in March. So we're launching on the 7th of March. And that's where the station is going to kick it. But before then, we're going to be on air in the next couple of weeks. You know, but the 7th of March, it is going to be the birth of a new, different idea.
Absolutely.
Basically. Yeah.
Radio and climate change, that's the theme this
Right.
year. And I know that I listen to radio and a lot of people call to talk about weather and, you know, what the environment is like. But how much work do you think radio these days? Because it seems we focus more on entertainment.
I would agree with you on that, on the entertainment side, yes. For example, radio should play a major role in this, because radio is definitely the medium that will pass this information, you know. And there's a lot of information about climate change that a lot of people don't know, you know. And remember I talked about radio being that medium that takes it to the you know, most remote parts.
Farmers and
exactly. So those people need to get those information. Those people have to be involved, you know, be in that conversations, you know, be aware of what's happening. So that is a role I think radio should play. I don't know if radio is playing enough as regards the climate change, you know, but I'm sure a lot of radio stations are pretty heavy on it. I wouldn't say we're heavy on it, but it is something that we all should get involved in, you know, and then help use.
A good thing is we've done the entertainment quite well. It's perhaps why Afrobeat is now one of the
global,
most popular.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's gone global. I mean, one of us just won the Grammy.
The Grammy, yeah. It's an everyday thing now for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how do you think our audience can celebrate World Radio Day to support their local radio stations?
I would say, if I want to be selfish, I would say, you know, tune into Max FM, basically, and we're going to be having a couple of conversations around it. We will try as much as we can to pass some of these messages. You know, I know the president the other day in Azerbaijan was talking about something like this. You know, Nigeria is getting involved now, so part of the job that we have is to pass the message, you know, to them. So they should stay tuned and then just enjoy. We'll always put it in an entertaining way. You know, we're not going to come direct, absolutely, you know, but then it's going to be fun.
So I'm told we have a little bit more time. A lot of young viewers, you know, reach out to me and ask me questions. How can I be on radio or be on television? I have a radio manager here, so perhaps you can tell us what has changed over the years and what do you think a youngster needs?
So the funny thing is, I was talking about this the other time. I think the people that are not broadcasters are even doing well radio now. If you go to schools, a lot of people are not interested, you know, in radio. Maybe, yeah, most especially radio. A lot of people are interested, but I've been to some schools and then you see all of them saying, oh, maybe because of the pay. You know, media basically in Nigeria hasn't really gotten to that point where you can make a proper living out of it, you understand? So I guess that's another angle. But in terms of the job itself, for the people who would love to do it, it is one of the key things being a successful radio presenter is just being yourself. You know, I've never liked people who would come and fake an accent. You know, that's one of the things that people do all the time. The fact that we started hearing radio from the Americas and the British doesn't mean that you have to, you know, if you don't talk that way, don't. You know. And secondly, just be confident. Absolutely. If you are confident, you can do it. It's just like talking to your friends, and that's it.
Who cares about being a radio presenter? I'm talking about how to be a radio GM like you.
Oh, well.
I'm just kidding.
You have to start somewhere.
Because I guess that's where the real money is. Oh, well. Marvin Aribe is GM Yanga FM and also Aaron 102.3 FM. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.